we actually embraced it. We slowed down, we tapped into all of the mindset work that we had done, and we surrendered to the power of the law of attraction. And we soaked up every minute of that unplanned time together. Welcome to the Kathy A. Davis podcast. If you are ready to crack through the armor to find your true self, to find your inner power, to unleash that power, and so you can begin to feel as though you are coming back home, back to the person you were before the world told you who to be, you are in the right place. Hello and welcome back. You might be wondering, why a podcast? Why are you starting a podcast? And here's the deal. I love to talk. I love to tell stories. I love to have deep conversations. And I am so excited to bring you this podcast. But let me give you a bit of a background around who I am and how on earth I ended up here creating a podcast for you, all about tapping into your unlimited potential to crack through that armor and find your true self. As far back as I can remember, I have been a teacher. I would consider podcasting teaching, right? Teaching has always been near and dear to my heart. And as a child, I would teach my stuffed animals from the extra worksheets or the discarded books in my parents' basement. Now, I remember I had this one, my fourth grade teacher, I had this book, this math book that someone had spilled her coffee on, and all the pages were stuck together or like rippled. But for those cute little stuffed animals, it worked. And it just further and further solidified my love of teaching. So I love to teach. I love to talk. I would call myself a lifelong learner. So it was no surprise to anyone that I went to college for teaching. And of course, as a lifelong learner, I stayed on to receive a postgraduate degree before taking my dream teaching position right near Lake Norman, North Carolina, outside of Charlotte. And I loved teaching. I soaked it up. Every minute was spent planning, researching, preparing lessons, grading papers. I loved it. I loved spending time at school. I loved the people I worked with. It was an extremely fulfilling profession. But there was one gap: money. And during my third year of teaching, I got a taste of entrepreneurship through a direct sales opportunity. And to no one's surprise, I excelled at that. And I was in the top 2% of the company within 2 years. That taste of entrepreneurship gave me the confidence to leave the teaching profession. And then when we moved to Pittsburgh in 2012, I had the confidence to apply for some executive positions in corporate America. And I got one of them. It was an admin assistant position, which within 2 months I was promoted to director of administration. And I loved it. I loved that job. I loved the company. I loved the people I worked for. It truly was exactly what I needed to build up some confidence in this entrepreneurial corporate world type space. Over the next 2 years, John and I had a ton of personal life changes. We got engaged. We sold our North Carolina condo. We bought our dream townhouse in Pennsylvania. We started our personal development journey with a CD series on mindset and law of attraction. And we began to explore plant-based eating, which is a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast. Stay tuned. Then at the end of that year, I was promoted to vice president. We truly believed that that promotion was a result of some massive mindset shifts, and we were all in for it. We were here for it. But the following year brought some more changes. My company restructured internationally and let many of the US people go, including me. And a month later, John's company also did some restructuring and he was let go. Now, we had used all our savings at that point to pay for our wedding. And while most people would say it's dismal, it's terrible, before you pull out the tissues and feel sorry for us, we actually embraced it. We slowed down, we tapped into all of the mindset work that we had done, and we surrendered to the power of the law of attraction. And we soaked up every minute of that unplanned time together. We ended that short stint of being laid off together with new jobs. John's has turned into his dream job. Mindset works, I'm telling you. And I tapped into my entrepreneurial passions again and started Veg Inspired, which again, a story for another day. My dream was to be able to educate others. It has always been to do that. So here we are, the Kathy A. Davis Show, your source for education, inspiration, and tactical tips to crack through the armor to find your true self. So you might be wondering what happened next. Well, I started Veg Inspired 9 years ago, and over the last 4 years, I've embraced that entrepreneurial spirit and have run Veg Inspired as my primary source of income. And I love it. And so you're probably wondering, wait, then why aren't you doing a veggie podcast? And that's a great question. And so let's bring it back to these last 18 to 12 months. I started to lean a little bit heavier into the inner work, removing the shoulds. I should do this. I should do it that way. She's doing it this way, so I should do it that way too. I started to crack through some of the conditioning that I'd had around making money and being an entrepreneur and being a vegan and being a leader in this world in the time that we're living right now. And over these last 18 to 12 months, over this last time period, I've used many different modalities to really crack through this armor and find my way back to my true self, back home to me, rooted in my values, rooted in my goals, rooted in my desires, back to who I was before the world told me who to be. And here's the thing, that world influences us every day. What your dreams are, what your goals are, might not be the person sitting next to you. I am living the dream of many, many people. And we're going to talk about that. I keep saying this on another podcast. But one of the biggest realizations that I've had is that I have been veg inspired. I was veg inspired. It was how I identified. It was a core part of my life. And to be honest, it was starting to stifle me a little bit. Being veg inspired was actually holding me, the inner me, the true me back. Now, with Veg Inspired, I can educate, I can inspire, I can empower, I can do all of these incredible, amazing things to help people eat more plants. There's so much more to me. And I'm letting her out. I am unleashing myself and I am going to be more me. I have so many experiences besides going plant based that I can share, that I can help people, that I can educate, that I can inspire, that I can empower, that I can help people move differently. And I want to lead on a different level. I want to make a bigger impact. So if you're here because you are a longtime Veg Inspired fan, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. And you will be happy to know that Veg Inspired isn't going anywhere. We have great plans for new recipes, new inspiration to help educate, inspire, and empower people like you to eat more plants. If you're just finding me from the Kathy A. Davis Show or the Kathy A. Davis on Instagram, welcome. I am Kathy and I am in my Be More Kathy era, and I am excited to share all of this with you in future podcasts. But let's come back to that question at the beginning. I started this podcast to step into being more me, being more Kathy, into this Be More Kathy era, to allow the wisdom and the talents and the lessons and the expertise of my life experiences come out and shine and guide others to be more of themselves, to lead others to truly crack through that armor and tap into their true self, to unlock their unlimited potential, to follow their dreams, to live the life of their dreams. My friends, we're just getting started. We're just getting started into living that life on your terms. So I want to leave you with one thing that you can do between now and next week's episode. I want you to take a step back from the hustle and bustle of your life. And I want you to tap into your heart, to slow down and to tap into your heart and to ask yourself, what do I really want? Who was I before the world told me who to be? What did you enjoy doing in your early childhood? What did you enjoy doing in your childhood? What passions do you have that you have put on the back burner for everything else? So between now and next week, we launch every Thursday a new podcast. Tap into that. Ask yourself, what more do you want? Because you, my friend, you are meant for more. So we're just getting started. Hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, share us with friends, and buckle up because our next few episodes are going to dig into some of the biggest shifts I've made in my life. And one of them has me living my dream life, and I can't wait to share it with you. Until next time, which is every Thursday, be present and live each moment. Thank you for listening to the Kathy A. Davis podcast. If you found value in this or want to leave us a review, I invite you to do so. Also, share this with a friend, family member, or anyone else you think would benefit. Until next time.